using a little Focusrite Scarlett. We've got a DI and we've got Mike at the cab right here, angled perfectly by Dave. We've got old school garage band, 2 tracks going at the same time. There it is. Here's a bunch of pedals and things. We were just looking at listening back to the audio, and we discovered that the DI and the mic sound almost identical. Why is that, Dave?
To be honest, I don't know. It's a radial Stagebug DI, which I can't remember because I've velcroed over the top of it to stick another pedal on top because I don't have enough space on my board.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether it's supposed to have an emulated speaker out. It may be the case that it does, and if so, did they just emulate this rig with that exact mic in exactly that place?
Because it does sound very similar.
Yeah, so we're using the radial Stagebug and also this Ashdown CTM 100 valve amp with an ABM 8x10 with a Sennheiser. Is it 806 or 606? I think it might be a 606.
Looks like a 606 from here.
Yes. And yeah, the DI is post my pedal board, and obviously the amp's post pedal board. I haven't got anything in the loop. And yeah, I suppose we should probably
shoot the demo then.
Start getting some sounds and going through everything.
Let's do it. Greetings on Chappers.
Dave.
And we're here today to aid you in the thirst for knowledge of the eternal concept of will it
groove,
or does it groove. And today we've got the amazing premium SR1305 from Ibanez. As promised, here is a review of said instrument.
Yes, yeah, we managed to get our hands on this from the very nice people at Ibanez. And it's awesome, and it's allowing us to do some very cool things.
Yeah, like have an extra string.
Yes.
And tune down to drop A sharp filth.
Yeah.
Can you tell that we're both incredibly tired, under-caffeinated, and yeah, that's probably what's going on in this situation.
I think that's probably what's going on.
Yeah.
We may have to take a coffee break or something and caffeine up.
So I broke my nail. I'm just going to show you how bad this is. That's really bad. Oh, it's awful. I've injured myself for you, if you will, and I'm sure that you're all very grateful. So Dave, tell me about this bass and what it's made of.
Okay, so I guess we'll do wood materials. We've got a ash and walnut top with a mahogany body and a Wenge Babinga neck.
So it goes wang, boo, wang.
Yes.
Okay.
Wang, boo, wang, boo, wang. That sounds like it should be a sort of... maybe I should turn that into a riff and we'll call it the SR song.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And then
what a silly riff.
On the fretboard we've got rosewood, which is very nice with abalone inlays, which are very tasty and pretty.
Yes.
It looks like it's got a rosewood cap on the top. But what I like is, in fact, on the whole of this bass, there's loads of tiny little details. So rather than just stick the rosewood straight on top of the Wenge, they've kind of put like a nice little slice of, I don't know whether it's probably ash, I guess.
Yeah.
The body's ash as well. I don't know whether that's, we might have to do a close-up.
We'll do a close-up of that.
And again, round the body where the top meets the mahogany, and also down here where the ash meets the walnut, there's loads of layers of mahogany and walnut.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that you can see those layers exposed at the edges, but also things like they drill the hole for the instrument lead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the attention to detail on this is really stunning. It's quite impressive, and I think for the price point that they're selling at as well, it really is quite stunning.
Wow.
And we've got good quality. What hardware is that? I can't read from here.
That is Goto.
And Nordstrand, I think they're big singles.
Nordstrand big singles, okay.
Pickups. And then they've got their own preamp in here.
There's a lot of knobs and buttons.
There are. It's quite powerful.
We noticed that. When Dave turned up, he said, I haven't got a bass amp. I was like, oh, okay. We'll have to get something here that works. So we tried Dual Dark 100, too much gain. OR 100, too much gain. Roland's Cube, just in case.
Which didn't sound bad actually.
Yeah, it was alright.
It was quite, yeah.
And then Dave went, oh no wait, I do have an amp. I have this, which is off the screen so you can't see it, but it's 8x10.
Ashdown CTM and 8x10 ABM cab, and it weighs a ton.
So we had one in the garage, just 100 watt bass amp paired in the 8x10 cab.
But it sounds really, really cool actually.
It sounds joyous.
So basically we've got the pickup selector here, set to the middle at the moment, but obviously we can go all the way back to the bridge pickup, or all the way over to the neck, or back in the middle.
So it's a blend between the two singles.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
That's really cool. Not enough electric guitar companies do that on standard electric guitars. In fact, the only time I've ever experienced that was on a vintage something, a vintage V300 or whatever it was, and it had a blend control.
That's cool. I always thought you get this is getting a little bit into the pro audio geeky era, I guess, but I really like the gain stage pots on like Neve consoles.
Right.
Because rather than it being a variable thing, they just have loads of little ditons that click in place.
Right.
And I think that should be something that basses should do more of, and maybe guitars as well, because you know, a gig or whatever. You can be
precise.
Yeah, you can always get the same. Yeah,
you can count the
detents. So I don't know, food for thought. maybe that's something that we'll see in the future on some instruments. It's still nice. It's got the dissonant in the middle, so you know that you're always on both, or all the way over, or all the way over.
Yeah.
And then we've just got master volume control, which is nice. Does what you'd expect it to do. Then we've got a switch here that engages the preamp, or switches it off basically.
Oh, so it goes straight through.
So you can have it basically as a passive bass.
Right, okay.
Or active bass.
Because of course it's battery powered.
So, but the pickups are passive.
Right.
So the
preamp is
preamp is active.
Yeah.
So you can switch that on and just have a completely passive, true tone bass where you can just hear what the woods are doing. Although that says, when you engage the preamp and everything's flat, I can't hear a difference, which means they've obviously nailed the electronics. Because it does sound exactly the same.
As it should.
In fact, if I just play and you switch it on and off.
So that one there?
That one.
I'll do it. Oh, there's a touch more low end.
More low end.
Yeah, just a touch low.
Just a touch. Yeah. But I think that's pretty impressive, really.
Yeah.
So then we've got the boost and cut for treble, so at the moment everything's set halfway.
Do you remember how much treble it boosted or cut?
Ooh, the exact decibel amount. I don't know.
I was expecting you to go, yes, it was 0.13 to 11, 10, 11, 90, 10, infinity.
I'm happy to guess, but I don't know.
That's fine.
I think the frequency response, the chart went to plus or minus 20 decibels, but the pot won't do that.
Okay.
I just, or at least I don't think the pot will do that. It's more likely that that's obviously based on the whole frequency response of the whole guitar.
Right.
In terms of gain, I think it's probably more close to 6 plus or 6 minus. I imagine. But either way, it is pretty powerful. You can go quite extreme on all of these pots.
We noticed that there is the ability to add so much bass and so much output that it's almost too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, because we're using my board, because I just think it's nice to have a bit of context and stuff. Some of the settings that I had for other basses and other amps and stuff, when we put the low all the way up, it really started driving the amp quite hard.
Yeah.
Which sounded good, but it was, so I've had to back off some of my settings to create a more neutral tone, I guess, for this bass. But yeah, so you've got plus whatever it is, treble. Minus. Back to the middle.
Yeah.
And then we've got the same over here for the bass.
Zeppelin.
I don't know why you'd want to cut out that much bass, but the option's there.
Yeah.
And equally the option's there to add just as much to the signal. So this is it all the way in.
That's like, I mean, you need to be wearing cans or hearing through some really good speakers, but that's stupid.
It's kind of, I'm sat next to the cab and I can kind of feel my ears starting to get that I don't compressed kind of.
No, I think I'm actually feeling the marrow in my skull move, which is an interesting experience.
So I mean that's pretty powerful. Obviously, anyone that knows me knows that I'm very particular about mid-range on bass. It's really important that you can get the mids sounding right. That's where the real sort of bass tone is, in my opinion. And although you haven't got, it isn't parametric, so you can't pick a frequency and then boost and cut it, you kind of can. It's kind of almost semi-parametric, I guess, because you've got this little switch here, which all the way up is, I think it's 450 hertz.
Right.
So you can then boost or cut 450 hertz. Oh, no, sorry, 250.
250 hertz.
250 hertz.
Okay, it's a lot of hertz.
And then in the middle, you've got 450.
Right.
And then again, you can switch it down again, you've got 700.
So those are very specific areas of mid-cut.
They are, I mean, it's just, they so 250 is kind of that really punchy low end before it starts getting sort of warbly and farty, I guess. The 450 is kind of way more throaty. It's you get a lot of punch and it's a little bit honky. You can get that kind of like parpy tone, or if you've got some drive, you can get some. I'll show you parpy in a minute. Right. Because this bass can definitely parp. And then you've got the
Does it parp?
Then you've got the 700, which is a really nice area where the I guess the finger tone starts to come in before it's really brittle.
That's cool.
So you can kind of get that stringy sound without it being really sort of like, I always hear it as like a crisp packet. Like if you just rub a crisp packet next to your ear, that kind of like... there's a lot of string.
If you're an American, a crisp packet is what you guys call chips.
Yeah.
Like Lay's.
And that would be like, I guess, the treble side of the string sound.
Right.
700 hertz is before you get that sound, so you've still got some body in the string.
Funnily enough, when I burst my eardrums, I had an ear infection years ago, and I went to the doctor and I said, my ears really, really hurt, I don't know what's going on. And the doctor took a look inside and she said, yeah, it looks like they're going to burst. And I was like, what? What are you talking about, they're going to burst? And she went, yeah, it's perfectly normal. Happens to kids all the time. Don't worry about it, it's fine. They burst, they'll heal again. And I was like shitting myself. And then on the way back in the car, they both burst while I was driving. And it was excruciatingly painful, but almost nauseatingly blissful, because all of a sudden all of that pressure was relieved as the pus and blood came out of both my ears. And I forget why I've mentioned this story now.
Something to do with crisp packets?
Yes. And then as I got my hearing back, the way I was testing it was I was rubbing my fingers like this, really close, to hear the high-end frequencies as they would come back into my ears. It was a pretty interesting experience.
I've had lots of issues with my ears in the past as well, with perforated eardrums and stuff, but I was a lot younger. I had several operations. They messed up the one in my right ear.
Nice.
And
Thank you, science.
There's still a hole that it's never going to repair.
Well, you're a Hollingworth.
Yes,
so
Hollingworth.
Why?
So
make sure that you wear earplugs and use ear monitoring and all that kind of good safe stuff.
I'm interested to know, because I was too young to really acknowledge what was going on when I was having my issues and whatever, but so did you have complete silence?
No, it was just a muffled... I mean, it was pretty much silent in one of them, but the other one was like muffled, horrible bullshit. Because it was perforated, but the drum was still there.
I just wondered whether the brain completely freaked out, because like in movies and stuff, when you're doing Foley and sound effects and the score and whatever for your film, you have something called gold sound, which is the sound of silence. You'll find if any of you guys do video editing or anything like that, you'll probably find that if you cut something out and just have some transition where it's just text, if there's no audio going on at all, the brain starts freaking out. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, is my TV broken? Is my computer
It's like
broken,
walking into one of those anechoic chambers where that's a horrible experience.
It is.
I bid you never walk into an anechoic chamber.
No. So gold sound is literally just a silent room with a mic, and they record the sound and they lay that underneath any things like that where it goes completely silent.
Wow.
Just so that when people are sat in the cinema, they don't think, oh, what's going on there?
So show me. We've done this a few times because Dave got the settings wrong, but now they're correct. Dave, show me mid-setting Juan.
250 hertz all the way up. All the way down. And this would be 450.
450, yeah.
All the way up.
Yep.
That's
the Parpy sound, yeah.
And then finally, and then cut.
Yeah. So that's the anti-parp.
That's the anti-parp. If you've got too much parp,
you can remove
all parpiness.
Take out the parp.
And then we've got 700, which is that kind of like string fingery kind of sound that I was talking about. That isn't quite crisp packet, but it's still got some body behind it. So this is that all the way up.
Yeah, that's really Monster Munch.
Yeah. And then all the way out.
Nice. So now I understand a lot more why you would need that switch and the ability to remove or add.
And the thing is, you've got different styles, different players will need to do different things.
Yeah.
A lot of the sort of funk players like to remove that kind of 450 sound and get that scoop just sort of top and low end kind of thump, I guess. Personally, I like the sound of it with it in doing slap.
Yeah.
But maybe I've just got.
What would TM Stevens do?
He'd probably take it out, I reckon. But I don't know. Maybe he's watching this. Let me know, man.
Hey, Tim. Massively, but I'm really enjoying this conversation. So, for example, the planet has its own sound.
It does.
What's the frequency of the planet, Dave?
I believe it's 7.85 hertz.
Correct.
Yes.
Isn't that frequency removed from something?
It is. Well, multiples of that are. In fact, self-radio frequencies are removed from all sorts of audio programming software. When you go back to the original frequency spectrum of original orchestral instruments and pianos and stuff like that, A was tuned to 432 hertz rather than 440.
So A used to be tuned to that frequency, but now it's not.
No, it's not.
Why not?
We're getting into the realm of conspiracies. I think it might be better to avoid this subject.
I'd like to ask the comment section on YouTube why A is no longer tuned to that frequency, and in fact, if you try and find that frequency in, for example, Logic, what happens?
It skips past that exact frequency.
You can't find it. It doesn't exist.
No.
That frequency's been removed from our world and no longer exists. Anywho,
I believe if you're into it, it's I think it's a heart chakra resonant point.
I wouldn't have any idea about that kind of thing.
But
I'm loving the bands today.
Yeah.
It's because we're exhausted and undercaffeinated.
Yeah, and I think it's starting to get into a realm of delirious nonsense. The bridge is really interesting. I've not seen one like this before.
It looks pretty adjustable in every single particular way you wanted it to.
It does, and it does look pretty hardcore as well. I'm very prone to breaking bridges.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how it fares out when we go out on the road and I start pummeling it.
Yeah. It's a really, really good fret job.
Yeah, that's one thing. I forgot what they call it now, but they've rolled all the frets.
Yeah, they've all been hand done. I mean,
so you don't feel. I mean, yeah, because on a lot of guitars and basses, when you run your hand along the edge, you can feel all the little.
Well, what happens?
Edges.
You've got the tang. What happens is, I mean, I've been to guitar factories, so I know this. Obviously, they cut and they file and they polish and they level and everything. But as the woods continue to dry in shipping and in distribution and warehouses, it slightly shrinks, even if it's just like 50th of a millimetre, and the tang very slightly, you get to feel it poke out the side. And this, they've done such a great job with the fretwork. I really enjoy just doing this. This was nice.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I appreciate about that is I've got quite small hands.
What are you talking about, bro?
I do have quite small
Hold your
hands.
hand up to the camera. See, it's
Yeah,
practically the same size.
And obviously, I've always been a 4-string player.
Yeah.
And I think having the wider neck, had the frets not been rolled off, I would have really felt it because my fingers going, reaching down here.
Yeah.
I'm pushed right up against it, but it doesn't, I can move without any issue. I think one of the other things I was going to mention was that, obviously, as I said, I am a 4-string player. Until you guys decided that you wanted to go really low and made me change my ways.
Yeah.
But every 5-string that I've played in the past, and I've played some really nice ones that are really great instruments and play really well, jazzes and all that kind of stuff. But I've always found it very disorientating in the sense that, it's like a guitarist playing a 7 or an 8 string or whatever. It's very different.
Yeah, because your frame of reference is removed and positionally changed.
Yeah, and I think probably because Ibanez are well known for making shred machines. They know how to manufacture an instrument that doesn't give you any hassle. It just allows you to get round the fretboards how you need to, and that translates to a 5-string really well.
Right.
Because I did feel immediately more comfortable playing this than other 5-strings that I've had a little go on in the past. Obviously, that's not saying that there aren't other companies that make 5-strings that are very playable, but I just immediately noticed that I didn't have that issue, and really the only thing that was disorientating is having that extra string, the string spacing changing.
Yeah.
So where I'm used to slapping and moving around and stuff, the strings are a bit closer to the strings are much closer than they normally are.
Talking of Ibanez, I'm going to be going to see Steve Vai for the first time in my entire life.
Really?
Because he's playing in Brighton.
Really? I didn't know that.
You didn't know?
Really cool. No, I didn't know that.
Dude!
That's very cool.
We'll have to, if you want to come, we'll have to see if we get your ticket.
This is where the comment section is going to go like ballistic, but I'm definitely more of a Satch fan personally.
I am too. I grew up with Satch, but I have a massive respect for Steve Vai, and on this tour he's doing Passion and Warfare, which is the best album he ever did, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he is obviously an incredible musician
Yeah.
and a very incredible and accomplished songwriter and composer. He does a lot of impressive things, but I just find Satch is way more tasteful when it comes to playing guitar, in my opinion.
different people, different styles. I'm kind of with you. But yeah, me and Beer and Dan are going to go and see him. If you want to come, we'll get a ticket. We'll go.
This is bits of a new song by Dorje called Reunited. I hope you've enjoyed this bass. We definitely have. I think it definitely does groove.
I would concur with you that it does groove.
It grooves.
Well done,
So good work. Hopefully we'll be coming back with some more stuff in the not too distant future. Take it easy.
See you later.
Dave.